This is Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily with Andrew Hustler Paterson and Michael Remis.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Guess what? You got plans tomorrow night. Game 7 in Winnipeg for the first time in NHL history. Tomorrow night after an implosion in St. Louis last night. Shout out to Remis and Connor, who did a great job of talking everyone through last night's game, what happened. That is up on the YouTube channel right now. I'm sure many of you have already checked that out. Listen, with the gravity of the game, the series that the Jets have been in, we figured we'd jump on today. Great to see everyone that has jumped on with us live. I see BAs in the chat saying, Huss, talk me off of the ledge. Yeah, this might be a little bit of a therapy session for a bit, but the bottom line, everyone, is there's nothing like Game 7 in the Stanley Cup playoffs in sports, and we got one tomorrow right here in Winnipeg where the Jets are 3-0 so far in this series. It has been a home series. We'll see whether it can continue. Certainly what you don't want to continue is what happened last night in the second half of the second period. Sound familiar? Yeah, it was deja vu all over again from Game 4, unfortunately. We'll get a little bit of post-game reaction from last night. But as we go live right now, Saturday afternoon, the Jets, well, a few members of the Jets are going to be meeting the media, and Scott Arneal's going to be there. But there has been a Mark Scheifele sighting downtown. So we'll get to that in just a minute as well. But the main reason that we're cranking this one out today, not only to connect with all of our great listeners and viewers on Winnipeg Sports Talk, but now that there's a Game 7, we got to give some tickets away. So shout out to everybody that entered to win in our playoffs in the PEG contest with our great partners at CoolBet. We will chat for half an hour or so, as long as we want to go, and then we will bang out one more marble race. And whoever is the first one into the hopper is going to be going to Game 7, courtesy of CoolBet and Winnipeg Sports Talk. Now, certainly we hope that there will be more games at home, pending the result of tomorrow evening's game. And if that's the case, we'll have more details on chances that listeners and especially CoolBet users will be able to get into more playoff games. So hopefully that'll be a big topic on the show on Monday. But first things first, we got to get to Game 7 tomorrow. Great to see everyone. Hope you're enjoying a beautiful Saturday. Hope you're getting ready for tomorrow. Let's welcome in Michael Remis, who was up late night last night doing some post-game duties here on WST with our own Connor Rabchak, who actually might join us a little later on. He's down at the building right now, hearing from Scott Arneal, as well as a couple of other players. But Remo, good stuff last night. Wasn't the most fun environment to be doing a post-game show, but it was a good stuff. And now, much like the hockey club, the fan base, the WST Nation needs to move on and get ready to bring it tomorrow night in a winner-take-all Game 7.
Yeah, it did the post-game last night. Obviously got chirped very hard in the comments by all the Blues fans who've been discovering our comment. They didn't like my Nathan Walker take that I said they all thought Sandberg dove. I was like, well, why is he even doing that? It's behind the play. Go back check. Like, play hockey. Why are you doing that? Anyways, that's my take on that. So shout out to everyone. And yeah, I laid in bed for a while last night reading Mike McIntyre in the Free Press, reading Murat and The Athletic, and thinking about what could have been, but also, excitement for the opportunity ahead. We've never had a Game 7 NHL game in Winnipeg. The last Winnipeg pro hockey, well, I guess Moose have had Game 7, but WHA, yep. there was Game 7 in 1970. 7. So, I mean, the Jets 1.0 had Game 7s, but all on the road.
Of course, Game 7 in Nashville in the 2.0 era.
Yeah, and the Jets 2.0 in Nashville.
Which is probably the biggest win in Jets 2.0 history, considering the circumstances and, the opportunity to go to the conference final. But for a home game, I guess Game 6 against Nashville in that same series with the opportunity to clinch and win and move on. But again, there's nothing like, a seventh game. It is both must win and can't lose. It is winner take all. It is all the cliches rolled into one. And what's amazing about this, Remis, is that we shouldn't be surprised that these two teams are going to a seventh game. I mean, they're very tight. They both have played very well at times. What's crazy is just how we got here. With the Jets playing 3 wonderful games at home for the most part, and completely falling apart in different ways in 3 games in St. Louis. Although I would not have blamed you guys if you and Connor just clipped about 20 minutes from your Game 4 post game and just posted it again, because that was the exact same thing that happened last night, almost to a minute of the game in the second half of the second period, where after playing really well, one went in and it just all fall apart, both for the Winnipeg Jets and, of course, Connor Hellebuck in the net.
Yeah, I made the joke several times. Like, we sure they're playing a live broadcast here? They're not just replaying Game 4, and they got out to a nice start. The power play, that was a positive. Penalty kill, perfect. Just a little 4-minute stretch there in the second period where it all fell apart. Seemed like every shot was going in, and it all came right after Nikolai Ehlers in his first postseason game action of 2025 on a 2-on-1 with Perfetti. Takes the shot, gets a rebound, stopped by Binnington, and then after that, it really went all downhill for the Jets. Coverage in front issues, losing battles behind the net, just the same stuff that we've seen. Goals with so many bodies in front that Hellebuck can't see, and then you had, I think, a soft one by Braden Chen. And there's been a bad goal, like a really bad goal, uncharacteristically bad goal allowed in just about every game. And That's not something that you saw from Connor Hellebuck all season. It was always, hey, if he can see it, he can shoot it. And the second goal in Game 5, the Shen goal yesterday, you thought those were ones he should have had. The misplay on playing the puck, what was that, Game 3? Game 4, there were some questionable ones. Don't need to go through all of it, but please don't. It hasn't been there. The goaltending and the defensive structure at times.
Well, listen, we'll talk a lot about. That's the other thing about this Game 7. I was lucky enough to be in the building in Boston in February for the gold medal game of the Four Nations. One of the great events I'll probably ever get to see in my life. Highlighted by Connor Hellebuck wearing the Stars and Stripes going head-to-head with Jordan Binnington. Both goaltenders played very well in that game. Binnington was absolutely brilliant in overtime, and there's certainly an argument to be made that he absolutely stole that game. Obviously, Mitch Marner hit Connor McDavid all alone in the slot, and he ended up winning the gold medal for Canada, or winning the tournament for Canada. Binnington made one more save than Hellebuck did then. This is an opportunity for Hellebuck to be the difference, to be that guy that makes the one more save. And listen, I think that if we'd had this conversation 2 weeks ago, it would be, well, hey, at home where the Jets have been so good this year, with the best goalie in the world, you got to be feeling really good. And I think that if you lean on what the Jets have done at home in this series, you can absolutely kind of get yourself into that mental space. It's just tough, less than 24 hours, coming off of another implosion by all parties involved. It takes a little work to get there, but you want to talk about an opportunity for someone to, just cut out all the noise, do what he's capable of doing, and in getting a legacy-changing win. I mean, I think it's not an overstatement or hyperbole to say that this game, in a lot of ways, may define Connor Hellebuyck, at least until it happens in future years if they're not able to get the job done. And it comes with the territory of being soon to be a 3-time Vezina Trophy winner, to be a Hart Trophy nominee. MVPs step up. And listen, he has made some big saves at times. We talked about the paddle save in Game 5 that could very well have been series shifting or changing. But last night, Binnington was that dude. And it sets up, Remis, one of the great goaltending matchups I think you could possibly have. A guy that, has won the biggest game of them all, Stanley Cup Game 7, but doing it on the road here in Winnipeg where the Jets are perfect so far. And the team, frankly, has looked completely different. They have not been able to withstand adversity on the road. But if you look back at what happened in Game 5, losing Mark Scheifele, Hellebuyck allowing a brutal goal early in the second period, the team did not wilt like they did in Game 6 in game number 5. And that's the team we're going to have to see if we're going to have any chance of round 2 playoff games at home next week.
Yeah, we were basically in the same situation a couple days ago before Game 5, saying how important was, how legacy defining game 5 was, and the Jets came out and played exactly the way they have at home all year. So there's no reason why they can't do that again. They know. They talked after the game, it was 4 minutes where they blew it. They gave up 4 quick ones and the game turned. At home, they've shown they're a different team, and Winnipeg, the Blues, haven't got to their game either. Last game, their comments were, we played terrible. That wasn't our game, and the Jets were able to take advantage in games 1 and 2 as well. And this isn't the first series where, certain games are lopsided. And you look at, I just go back to the Stanley Cup final last year. The Oilers won game 6, 5-1, after they came back down from 3-0 to tie at 3-3. And, we all know Florida won 2-1 in game 7. So you have series where certain things look one way. Oilers also won an 8-1 in Game 4 last year in the Cup final. So the 7-game series, not every game is going to be a nail-biter, close one. Stuff's going to happen, and either you go from one building to another. So if you're the Jets, you got to feel good knowing, hey, you're in your own building. That's what you earned all year for 82 games. You won the regular season. You can play a Game 7. Any Game 7 would be here. And they played well. Why not, again, if they just won Game 5, why can't they repeat that again in Game 7?
Oh, listen, the team is absolutely capable of it. But I would say the same thing about the St. Louis Blues. I mean, there's only one team that's going to come out of this Game 7 and meet the winner of tonight's Dallas-Colorado Game 7. I cracked up when Connor mentioned this yesterday. I'm sure we will hear this from Scott O'Neill at some point, as he predicted. You play all year to win the division, to put yourself in a situation where if you do end up going to a 7th game, it's in your barn. And, as many people are pointing out in the chat, the Jets earn home ice over the rest of the National Hockey League by winning the President's Trophy. And while we say, the President's Trophy doesn't mean anything when you get to the playoffs, well, actually it does. It means one thing. This game is in Winnipeg tomorrow. And the Jets have had great success at home. Jordan Binnington hasn't won in Winnipeg since 2021. And the games have looked really, really different. It's funny, Reem, we'll talk about, lineup decisions, and how, and I know you guys talked about this yesterday. I mean, do they put Colin Miller in? Do they move away from the lineup that they had last night and the lineup that they had in game number 5? And I think you can absolutely make an argument that, some tweaks to certainly the blue line might be appropriate. But then you look back at what the team was able to do in front of the net, in transition, in the neutral zone in games 1, 3, and 5 in Winnipeg. And it's exactly opposite of what happened for parts of the game on the road. And that was the lineup that, had Luke Schenn and Logan Stanley playing together. And especially Schenn has been like night and day at home and on the road. Had 2 really, really rough games. of the 6 so far playing away from Canada Life Center. I don't know, his experience, the cup rings, the veteran nature. I have a feeling that they'll want him in, although I certainly have time for the discussion of Colin Miller. But man, when you look at just how rough that series, that game was last night, I mean, credit the Blues for bringing it for pretty much the full 60 minutes. Those bigger guys that have the ability to clear the front of the net, which has been a challenge for the Jets, especially on the road. You sort of lean on players, especially like Luke Shen, to do that. So, I mean, we'll find all that out tomorrow. I'm sure everyone will have their opinions, but I'm not sure that this series is going to be determined by the third pairing of either team, or, I mean, I guess the fourth line. You have big guys, guys step up, unexpected heroes in situations like this. So, maybe I shouldn't say that, but to me, it's going to come down to Hellebuck versus Binnington. And the bottom line is whether the Winnipeg Jets can get back to the brand of hockey that they so impressively put forth without Mark Scheifele, with their backs seemingly against the wall in Game 5 in the final 40 minutes of that game, when they really took it over despite missing their most offensive player. Speaking of that most important offensive player, Remo, fill us in on what the word is on Mark Scheifele from downtown.
Sure. Here you mentioned the fourth line. Shout out to the Blues fourth line. Has on the ice for 3 goals against, or 3 goals for yesterday. Walker, Faxa, Toropchenko. And you mentioned the Jets third pair. Well, Luke Shen on for 3 goals against at 5-on-5 with all different partners in Pionk, DeMello, and who's this other one? Pionk and Stanley. They were all on each for goals against. So it has been interesting to see how they've utilized the Jets' third pair D, limiting their minutes in close games at home, and you do have more control over the matchup. So
absolutely,
we'll have to see. But we did have an interesting development. Kelly Moore of CJOB putting out this video of number 55, Mark Scheifele, in a tracksuit, skating around at Canada Life Center. What does it mean for his availability for Game 7? We don't know. We haven't heard yet. We're still waiting on Scott Arniel, but here he is skating around in a helmet and tracksuit, doing tight turns, doing stick handling, and still had time to be the last one off the ice. He's with the assistant coach, Marty Johnston. So I don't know what to take away from this, anything, but except the fact that he is skating at Canada Life Center. That's all that we know, and we'll have to hold our breath until tomorrow morning at the morning skate to see what kind of jerseys he's on and line rushes. So I think, if anything, this would be a positive, better than not being on the ice at all. I don't know what it means that he's in a tracksuit and not full equipment, but I think that's certainly positive.
Hey, a Scheifele sighting with skates on the ice, I'll take it. It would be, I think, an incredible boost to the Jets if he was coming out there tomorrow and able to play. Of course, Nikolai Ehlers is going to be back. I think having him back on home ice in front of the fans will be a big boost. And listen, I don't really want to get too much into this, Remis, but we kind of have to mention this. There is the potential that tomorrow could be Nikolai Ehlers' last game as a Winnipeg Jet if they don't get the job done and move on to the second round. Plenty of uncertainty as to his future. I think I can safely say many, if not the majority of fans, really hoping that Nikolai stays. But who knows? So there are legacies on the line. There is history to be made. And then there's individual and personal situations for players like Nikolai Ehlers, who have meant so much to this organization. And just hopefully we'll get a chance to keep on seeing them play more games this year, but that means they're going to have to get it done tomorrow night. We've got a few clips. Now, Connor's actually downtown at the rink right now. I think the media is happening right sort of over the course of right now. So when he's done, we might get him to jump on with us and just kind of hear if there's any update on Mark Scheifele or anything else happening. But Here's if you missed it. This was
okay. Here's the update from Ken from 27 seconds ago. Sorry to interrupt, but he literally just tweeted this.
Breaking news on WST.
Scott O'Neill says that's a great sign. He feels a lot better today than he did yesterday. He will be a game time decision.
All right, all right. Thumbs up in the chat for that. I will be honest, Remo, I had sort of already put myself into a headspace that Mark Scheifele probably wasn't going to be available to the club. But to hear Scott Arniel say that, listen, that's some great news because, again, to beat a team like the St. Louis Blues 4 times, it's going to take everyone, especially your best players. And listen, some of their best players have been their best players, especially on home ice. And others have really struggled. So tomorrow at 6 p.m. at Canada Life Center, in a lot of ways, is Judgment Day for this team that had a record-breaking regular season, is getting a ton of accolades at the NHL Awards with Hellebuck and Scott Arniel up for NHL Awards. But a lot of the success that they've had is going to be looked at differently if they can't win this game tomorrow. And listen, for the St. Louis Blues, they went back after a very disappointing Game 5 with the goal of earning another opportunity to finally win a game in Winnipeg, and they did exactly that last night. So it is going to be it's going to be a memorable. I mean, this really, I was talking to some friends last night about this, and I'm thinking, as a lifelong Winnipegger, and I mean, I'm kind of going to have to remove championship games like for the Bombers. This is arguably one of the biggest sporting events I think that's ever happened here. I mean, I kind of mentioned those games against Nashville going into in 2018, the Game 6, and obviously, games in the conference final against Vegas. But I mean, the Jets won that game, and then obviously it went 4 straight after that. The first ever Game 7. The storylines from this team for the last 3 years, not being able to get out of the first round, the ups and downs of this series, the individual greatness through the regular season that's being tested right now. We could do a 30 for 30 on this series, win or lose, by the time it's all over.
Yeah, we've just talked about for years Winnipeg Jets getting over that regular season hump, getting the division banner, and finally reaching the pinnacle of the regular season with the President's Trophy, only to be confronted by the playoff demons that they've battled the last couple of years with early exits in the first round after winning Game 1 and then losing 4 consecutive. This year they win the first 2 and then lose the next 2 and go 1-1. And the home team won every game in this series. We'll see if that trend continues. I did see Christian O'Mell of CJOB calling back to the 2011 Stanley Cup Final with the Bruins and the Canucks, where Vancouver won the home games, but in the road games they got blown out, and Roberto Luongo was pulled. That one went to 7, and Boston ended up winning in Vancouver. This is just one of those series, but I think you also have, I was fully on the train, Huss, last year. Connor Hellebuck, the team in front of him did not play their game, and while they haven't played their game at times, he certainly hasn't been at his best. And I mean, there's the numbers showing his goals against and save percentage and where he ranks among goalies and goals saved above expected, like way, way down at the bottom. It's shocking to see a guy who just got nominated for the Hart Trophy and who's going to be back-to-back Vezina winner.
I mean, it's been ugly, really ugly at times, and shocking for someone that's played at such a high level and it's been so important to this hockey club. But the good news is he's got another chance tomorrow, along with his teammates, to, much like we said about Game 5, I mean, stare down these demons right in the face and come out on the other side of it. And they did that in Game 5. And while that was a gut check 3 years in the making, as we talked about with Murat Atesh earlier this week, this one seems exponentially bigger after the win in Game 5, but then the collapse in Game number 6. Let's just play clip number 4. This is what we're talking about, Hellebuck and Game 7. This is Arnie on his starting goaltender and, of course, tomorrow night's deciding game.
One game showdown. That's what it is. Our whole group, not just Connor. This isn't about Connor. Tonight was not about Connor. Tonight we imploded in front of him, and so now it's a one-game showdown. It's our goalie against their goalie. It's like I mentioned to you guys. It's getting repetitive. It's our best players against their best players, and it's our grinders are going against theirs. It's specialty teams. It's D-zone coverage. It's what we do as a group. It's getting to Jet hockey here, getting back to it again. And you know what? I have a lot of confidence in our group. Not just Helly. I have a lot of confidence in our group. You win one hockey game, you move on to the next round.
All right, there's Scott Arniel, head coach and a finalist for the Jack Adams Trophy. And all that experience and all those coaching chops are going to be put to the test for Arnie over the course of the next, 28 and a half hours before we drop the puck with the eyes of the hockey world on the whiteout and Winnipeg, Manitoba in the final game of round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now, Adam Draward in chat asking, how short will the leash be? I'll be honest, it'll be shorter, I think, than it normally is. Hard to imagine the Jets winning, without Hellebuck having a really strong game. I mean, Jordan Bennington's showing up. And he'll be in that other end, and it ain't going to be easy to get any past him. So, I mean, we will need to see the best of Connor Hellebuck. I mean, listen, if something happened early where there was a couple goals going in or one that, really, you didn't like, maybe they do make that move. But, I mean, listen, this is Connor Hellebuck's team. He's their MVP. They're going to go down swinging with a guy that's been the best goaltender in the league for the regular season. Now it's time to show it in the playoffs. All right, cool. So the media availability is done. We'll get a little report from Connor on that. Just while we set that up, Remo, let's play number 2. This was Rennie's question, and Arnie, well, it's a very interesting back and forth. I thought it was a very good question by Rennie. He almost didn't get a chance to ask it, though. This was the exchange from post-game last night between Sean Reynolds of Sportsnet and KNR and the Winnipeg Jets head coach.
The Blues were talking coming into this game about their...
I don't care what the Blues talk about. This is Winnipeg Jets. We have a style of play that we have to play. We got to it for about 30 minutes, and we dropped off big time.
Just going to set up the question.
Sorry.
The Blues were talking about how their lack of ability to play 60 minutes last game caught up with them. So for people watching this series from a coach's perspective, give us an idea how small the margin of error is in a series like this.
That's playoff hockey. It's every play matters. Every moment matters. Momentum isn't between days. Momentum happens in the middle of a game. And for us, I'm not going to speak on behalf of the Blues. For us, when we play close to complete games, we're a tough team to beat. And we've done it 3 times in this series. We're going to have to do it 4.
All right, some good stuff from Arniel afterwards. We may as well. This is sort of how things started. This was just Arniel's thoughts of where things went wrong for the Winnipeg Jets last night in St. Louis.
Clip 1, right?
Yeah, clip 1.
Scott, your players framed that section of the second period as a series of self-inflicted moments. Do you see it the same way, and why did it happen?
100%. Carbon copy of what happened here in Game 4. Played really well, playing real strong for 30 minutes, 33 minutes, and terrible line change. Give up a chance. Next time out, we throw the puck to their goaltender right into his glove, make another line change. We're racing back on both those, trying to get coverage. And then the third one was just us coverage. We had a couple guys, 3 guys caught behind the goal line. So, yeah, we shot ourselves in the foot. Just did, again, some uncharacteristic things in moments, and the momentum swung. Where we were playing a really strong game, it just swung, and just like Game 4. And so, you know what? You hope you learn from it the first time, but obviously happen again, move on. And so, you know what? Like I said to you guys before, after Game 4, you know what? The damage is done. We got to go home. Go take care of our business at home. Yeah,
6 p.m. tomorrow night, Canada Life Center, winner take all Game 7 between the Jets and the Blues. And Reminos said, there's always interesting Game 7 playoff heroes. I mean, the list is, superstars, but also guys that, just got into the lineup for a game. The one thing that the Jets need to do, and I think they did a really good job last night for the most part, was taking care of, the top players on the Blues. I mean, obviously the Braden Shen goal was absolutely killer. And that was the moment that the team really seemed to lilt, and obviously those next two came in. But 2 goals from the fourth line, a couple from the blue line. I mean, these are the things that the Jets did so well at preventing for the most part on home ice, and they're going to need to do that again as well. And the most frustrating thing about yesterday's game and what happened in that 4 or 5 minute period was just how well they were playing in the second period. I mean, they didn't get a lot through in the first. There was obviously that goal that could have been challenged that wasn't, that gave the Blues the lead. But I thought the Jets' first 11 minutes of the second period was some of the best hockey that they played in the entire series, which made it that more frustrating and at the time shocking for the game to go as south as it did so quickly. And I mean, you went from being almost up 2-1 with a glorious chance from Nikolai Ehlers into the second half of that second period. And by the time they're going to the dressing room, it's a 4-goal deficit and it's basically done. So the one thing that this team did so well coming out of Game 4 into Game 5 was wash that one. I'll give the Blues the same credit for doing similar for Game 6, coming out of a pretty disappointing performance for them in Game number 5. And now there's no tomorrow. There's no excuses. The best team will win tomorrow night. And I will say this, whoever survives this series will be a tough out. I think more than anything, just the, what they've earned and what they'll have to have done to get out of a series between two really good teams and two of the best teams in the NHL over the course of the second half of the season.
Yeah, little Game 7 appetizer tonight with the Avalanche and the Stars, and what was a crazy Game 6. So many goals and the revenge narrative with Mikko Rantanen. So, yeah, Game 7 tomorrow for everything, and I think the second round will be very good. And, I see a lot of comments about, the Jets are a President's Trophy winner, losing to an 8th seed. I don't think the Blues, I think got to give Blues more credit than that. They've been the best team in the league since the Four Nations, and I would take them over any of the East teams like Ottawa or Montreal. The Western Conference is far superior conference, and I think every team in the West
could
here
win the
is pretty
cup.
good.
Like if the Blues win this game tomorrow night in Winnipeg, I mean, I don't think that they're not capable of coming out of the Central Division and being. I mean, listen, we've seen this before with this hockey team. They were the worst team in the league in 2019. They beat the Jets in 6 and then never looked back and ended up having a parade 2 months later. And the guy in net, Jordan Binnington, is in net right now for the Blues. Now, the Winnipeg Jets are a hell of a good hockey team when they play to their potential and what they're capable of, which has been the norm so far this season. So Scott Arniel has to get the best out of his club tomorrow. Poise, focus, and an incredible level of compete to match what St. Louis is definitely going to be bringing. And as they say, may the best team win. And we'll talk about the goaltending matchup again a little bit more continuing. Yeah, Waiters mentioning the Kings won the Cup as an 8th seed. I mean, there is something to be saying about just getting your spot in the Stanley Cup tournament. I mean, you got to win the whole – if you're going to win the whole thing, you're going to beat great teams throughout. And these are two really good ones, and it's going to, much like this game tonight between Dallas and Colorado, somewhat unfortunate that one of these teams will be going home, but that is life in the Central Division. So Connor's going to join us, and then we'll get to this marble race to see who's going to Game 7, brought to you by our partners over at CoolBet. Reem, I have not looked at the line yet for the game. Have you?
No, but I think the Jets are going to be favored. Well,
that's what I mean. Let's do a little guess the line right now. I mean, they were a pretty big favorite in Game 5.
Yes.
And yesterday's game was, the Blues were a slight favorite, but not much. It was very close to a pick'em. I'm thinking Jets minus 135.
Oh, I was going to say like 150. I was looking at
let's see.
Dom,
let's see what it is.
Dom from The Athletic put out his model. I think his odds were like 60-30 for the Jets to win this Game 7, while Dallas, Colorado was 50-50. So I think the Jets are going to have a bit of an advantage.
You know what? Minus 147.
Okay, there.
Chalk one up for Reem. Blues plus 125. And while we're at it, over on the old Cool Bet page, Avalanche now minus 164 favorites. Dallas a plus 140 home dog for tonight's Game 7. All right, so we're going to do the marble race for the playoffs and the peg contest in just a minute. But let's get our own Connor Rabchak in from the rink right now. Scheifele sighting, as well as we're hearing from the coach. So let's bring Connor in right now. If you got him ready to run in here, Reem?
Yeah, I don't know if his mic is selected, but test it out, Connor. No, it's coming through your laptop.
Okay, hold on, give me a sec.
I mean, you can always just sit there. I don't see the Rode mic as an option for you.
Yeah.
That's okay. You sound good if you're right there.
No, it's coming through your Mac, not on the Rode mic.
Yeah.
There you go. We get a nice close up for you.
I mean, if you just sat down in front of your computer, it's fine. I can bring you up here.
Yeah, perfect. We'll get this up and get Connor. But yeah, you might have to just chill close to the Mac so we can hear you properly. Connor, first things first. Mark Scheifele out on the ice at the twirl, the picture that sent the Jets Nation like some much needed excitement and maybe some optimism seeing 55 out on the ice today. I mean, were you there for it? Did you see him? And what was he up to? What was he doing? How did he look?
Yeah, he was just kind of twirling around, Huss. He was doing some stick work, passing the puck, shooting pucks. Obviously, no contact. No one else skated today except for Mark Scheifele. He was in a tracksuit as well, so I don't know. Scott O'Neill did say that it was a great sign that he was able to skate today, and Mark Scheifele is feeling better. But yeah, ultimately, Scott O'Neill said he's a game time decision, so we'll see if he's in the lineup tomorrow or morning skate tomorrow morning at 9:30 is going to be a very good indicator of whether or not Mark Scheifele will play Game 7. But ultimately, this is good news that Scott O'Neill didn't come up and immediately rule him out, and Mark Scheifele was skating, and he said it was a great sign and ultimately a game time call.
Yeah, listen, you can start the prayer circles for 55 Jet fans. You can make some magic happen in the next 26 hours before the puck drops. Listen, we saw a pretty focused, what did I say, Scott O'Neill? We just played some of it. I mean, pretty angry and disappointed with the way that the game blew up on his team last night. But as the media veil went on, still preaching confidence in his team, confidence in his goaltender, and knowing the stakes for a Game 7 and the fact that they've earned to have this one at home. I mean, I know you saw that and you guys played it yesterday and we just went through the clips. What was the tone of the coach this afternoon, Connor, and what else did Scott O'Neill have for the assembled media?
Yeah, a lot of the focus was on Game 7, of course, and what the Winnipeg Jets can do to lean on the experiences that they had back in 2018 for a Game 7 that most of this core was a part of, right? Adam Lowry, Mark Scheifele, Connor Hellebuck was in that Game 7 as well, and the Jets ultimately won that one. So Scott O'Neill is hoping that the players that haven't experienced a Game 7 before lean on those guys in this moment. And we did hear from Dylan Sandberg and Morgan Barron as well, who haven't played in a Game 7. They said the closest thing they've played to a Game 7 is a college national championship game, which is single elimination, high stakes as well, but it's different. It's Stanley Cup playoffs. You're on home ice. They're looking to lean on this home ice advantage here in front of the whiteout. Scott O'Neill is hoping that players like that, the younger players in the lineup, lean on some of the veterans that have been through this experience before.
I mean, it is going to be new for a lot of people. It'll be new for Winnipeg fans and that crowd. And, I tweeted this out, Connor. I really do think, to stare down some of the recent playoff demons, it's going to take everybody in that dressing room. I think it might take every ass in the 15,000 plus seats in the Canada Life Center to get this one over the hump. But I do know that when the Jets wake up tomorrow morning, they come down to the rink for a game, they'll know that they've done that 3 times so far in this series, and they've left with smiles on their faces each and every time. They're certainly capable of it. But what a matchup between two teams that have both had their way at times in this series. And and for different reasons, one of the most intriguing goaltending matchups for a Game 7 that we've had in recent NHL history.
Just like the Four Nations face-off final, Huss, all of these stakes, Binnington versus Hellebuck. Obviously, Jets fans are hoping it goes the other way this time with Connor Hellebuck coming out on top. But yeah, who's under more pressure than Connor Hellebuck in this Game 7? I don't think there's anyone on the Winnipeg Jets roster.
It's not even close.
It's not, and I agree, it's not even close. So what an intriguing goaltender matchup. Jordan Binnington is known as a big game goaltender, so he's going to have that reputation coming into this game. And we know what Connor Hellebuck's reputation is coming into this game, not only in this series, but the past couple of years as well. And hey, you can change a lot of narratives going into Game 7 here, and this place is going to be bumping. I know for Game 5, you guys hyped it up as, ultimate gut check game. A lot of the same things can obviously be said for this Game 7, but there was no nervous energy going into that Game 5. And I don't know, it's going to be plus 25. It's sunny tomorrow. Yes, the Jets have struggled on the road, but I think this Winnipeg Whiteout's going to bring it. I don't think there's going to be any nervous energy. The MVP chants are going to be even louder for Connor Hellebuck than they were going into Game 5. And the Jets are going to lean on that. And the 15,000 plus, like you said, I think are going to bring it big time.
No, listen, we played that clip from Kevin Hayes on WST yesterday or the day before, and there was really an element of the fans lifting the team up in game number 5 before the game, after the 2-2 goal when Scheifele was out, and the team absolutely rallied around that and responded to it. And listen, I heard what you said last night, on the post game, and you're exactly right. If Game 5 was the biggest gut check to show that they weren't just going to all of a sudden lose a game and then that was over, they now have to prove they can come back and do it again and establish themselves on their rink against a very good team in what is one of the great theaters in all of sports. And, as pissed off as everyone was after the game last night in and around, once you kind of get into today and maybe get outside a little bit, it is going to be an incredibly exciting opportunity for this team to move past some recent playoff history. And listen, I know everyone is all over playoff heli, and justifiably so. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like I did from the Colorado series, that this is just, a team. There's been some goals that cannot go in. In a lot of ways, it could be legacy defining for him, but knowing, what's in between his ears, as much as, we can talk about what's happened this week, he let in one goal on the road in Game 7 in 2018 against the Nashville Predators. This is a guy that won 3 straight overtime games against the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, including a triple OT win. So it is not like he hasn't performed at a high level before in the playoffs. This is more recent. But again, the only thing that matters is Game 7, the Game 7 performance, him and the team in front of him. And as I said, and Arniel said this as well. Listen, this isn't just about Connor, which is great. You're backing your guy. It a little bit is just about Connor, but at the same time, if the team doesn't bring it in front of him, the path to victory is not there.
Yeah, there's sort of a glass half full, half empty approach you can take to a Game 7. As you know, Huss, I like to dig into numbers and underlying metrics and trends. All of that goes out the window in a Game 7. It's one game. Your power play can be terrible all series long and go 4 for 6 in Game 7 and win you the game. It's one game to decide it all. And the glass half full approach is, doesn't matter what Connor Hellebuck's save percentage is up till this point in the series. If he has a great save percentage in Game 7, the Winnipeg Jets will be playing hockey next week as well here at Canada Life Center. So Game 7, one game showdown. You can throw out all the stats from this series, from the season, the power play, the first half of the year. None of it really matters. All comes down to this one game showdown. And I agree with you. Not only is it franchise defining, they bet on this core. They bet on Mark Scheifele and Connor Hellebuck with the 7-year extensions and added to this group. But those players have to show up. Will Mark Scheifele play? We will see. But Connor Hellebuck specifically, how he's played in this series, a lot of pressure on him and could be a career-defining game one way or the other.
I see Alex in the peg is here. Is there's 0 chance for 55 to play? Not according to the coach. He will be a game-time decision, and he was out skating today, albeit in a tracksuit and helmet. And listen, that was a great sight for Jet fans to know that there is at least hope. And as I mentioned, there's so many other lines to this game. The focus is on this series, Connor, but I mean, there are legacies that can be defined. Players that could potentially be playing in their final game as Jets, including Nikolai Ehlers, who returned yesterday. So the fact that it's all coming down to this for this season and this series is, well, it'll be one that I think everyone's going to remember. And, you know, as I said, if you've got your if you have a chance to be in that building tomorrow night, I would take advantage of it, because I think win or lose, this will be a game that we'll be talking about for a really long time. Hey, before we let you go, everyone's talking about Game 7. I know that is what you'll be doing tomorrow morning. Tee up WST Sunday Live, 9 a.m. Get a coffee and start counting down to Game 7 with Connor and the crew.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Liz and Jacob are going to join me, as always, on WST Sunday Live, and it's the biggest WST Sunday Live of the year, Huss. We talk about it's a franchise.
It is.
This is a WST altering Sunday Live tomorrow. Game 7, game day edition of Sunday Live. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, we're just going to preview Game 7 because, like I said, Game 6, we've talked about it on the post game last night. You guys were talking about it here today.
Talked about it after Game 4. You could have just clipped 20 minutes of that post game and played it again last night.
Exactly. Yeah, Scotty Neal wants to move past it, and so do we. So we're focusing all on Game 7 and how the Winnipeg Jets can win tomorrow. And hey, the Jets are skating at 9:30 here at Canada Life Center, so we will be live when we find out whether or not Mark Scheifele is on the ice, whether or not he's taking line rushes. So if you want to join us for our live reaction to that news, whether or not Mark Scheifele is playing, join us at 9 a.m. WST Sunday Live. It's going to be a fun one. And I think the vibes are going to be pretty good. I cited the weather earlier. I think that's a big vibe changer. Like if it was raining tomorrow, like the vibes would be so low. I think 20, 25 and sunny, whatever it's going to be. Everyone's going to be fired up at the street parties, and it's going to be a fun day.
Yeah, you can put your suit top and wear your jorts into the press box tomorrow. It'll be that nice.
It'll be bad. No.
Hey, listen, great stuff. Thanks for jumping on today. I know everyone's going to be locked in with you and the gang tomorrow, 9 a.m. for WST Sunday Live, a special Game 7 edition, the biggest WST Sunday Live of the year. I love that, and it's totally true. And again, Jets hitting the ice at 9:30 tomorrow. So fire it up, grab a coffee, hang out with Connor, Liz, and Jacob, and as things happen, we'll have it for you here with reaction and to see how this lineup might look like, and of course setting up a do-or-die game for both the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues in the final game of round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Connor, thanks for doing this, man, and have a great show tomorrow. We'll see you at the rink.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. See you at the rink tomorrow.
Good stuff. There's our own Connor Rabchak down from Canada Life Center. Mark Scheifele skating today in a tracksuit. Scott Arniel said that was a very positive sign, and he'll be a game-time decision for tomorrow's ultimate Game 7. All right, Remo, we do have some business to take care of before we wrap it up, and that is sending somebody to Game 7, courtesy of our great partners at CoolBet, with our 4th winner in the playoffs in the PEG contest. As we did for Game 1, Game 2, and Game 5, we have had our friends at ChatGPT select 20 of the entrants, both on our Instagram page and our X page on the pinned post. And we've got 20 marbles in, and whoever is first across the line into the hopper is going to be able to be there for history tomorrow, one way or the other, as they'll have a pair of seats to the playoffs and to Game 7. Why don't we get this rolling?
I have the names in. We have to remember, what's our track? Champions Fire Project or something like that, right?
Yeah. It starts with Champions.
Champion. Yeah, of course it starts Champions. I believe it's Champions Fire Project. Let me just.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. And you know, while you get that.
Yes, this is the one.
While you get that, here are the entries. For these are the 20 marbles that have been selected. So one of these marbles is gonna be going to the game tomorrow night. From the X entries, Leslie Michnik, Zach Schnitzy, nicely done. At Gitch Lishka, at Ted Lai 2, at Didick CJ, at Daniel Heford, at Chase Borgstrom, at Snady M, at Underdog 29II, and at Marcus Winnipeg. And then the Instagram handles from the Instagram posts that are in: Andrew K. Fitzsimmons, Travis Spratt, Greg Pasechnik, FR_Towns, K. Berard 91, Martins Dustin, Bazillo 1974, Andrew Gilly 22, JB Midaw, and Mike Cochran WPG. So, good luck to you all. Huge thanks to Jake, Pat, Ange, and the gang over at CoolBet for making this contest possible. We wish we could send all 20 of you to the game, but there will be only one winner, and that winner is the first marble into the hopper right now in the Champions Fire Project. Remo, drop them, and let's see who's going to Game 7, courtesy of WST and CoolBet. All right. Pretty even start. Couple of these races that we've done earlier with the qualifiers, we've had some eliminations. One, I think everybody got through. Tedlai, too, with a pretty nice start. Martins Dustin right behind him. They're on the close one. It looks like Marcus Winnipeg leading the way over on the other side. We've got Gitch Lischka making a bit of a push. Underdog as well. Now, they're going through these tubes into the funnel, which will then bring them down. Now, maintaining a nice, getting through here quickly will be huge if someone can get a nice little advantage on the others. And it does look like Martins Dustin and Marcus Winnipeg with a nice one, but no one really got any major. Leslie Michnick's in first now, but it's very tight, and this is anybody's race. Much like Game 7 tomorrow for the marble racers today, the stakes are very high, considering there is a pair of Game 7 tickets on the line for the winner of today's race. Leslie Michnick is in there, I believe, coming down first. Tedlai. And wow, incredible transition by all of the marbles. And who's that? Tedlai, 2 in first. Oh, Leslie Michnick. This is back and forth. Zach Schnitzer has entered the chat. He is right there. Looks like Schnitzy and Marcus WPG are in right now. Now we get the loop-de-loops, and we'll be coming down through this funnel into the hopper and the spinning orb. Oh no, Zach Schnitzer just got top roped. He is out. That is devastating. Marcus WPG, it looks like, is going to be, and Leslie Michnick just took an L as well. Marcus and Tedlai 2 right now, 1-2. Tedlai, Marcus, Tedlai. Marcus is going first in. Underdog 29 just got top roped. And Marcus is into the orb. Tedley is also into the orb. One of these two looks like they've got the opportunity to get out first, but again, you're not in until you are in. Nobody out of the orb. More marbles coming in. Who's going to be the first one out? Marcus WPG. Martins Dustin. Who's hitting the bottom first? It is Martins Dustin. I'd imagine that is Dustin Martins. And Marcus WPG, second place. What an epic finish. Wow. Remo, of all of the races for the tickets in the playoffs and the PEG contest, that I think was the closest. Couple unfortunate eliminations for marbles that were in the mix, and a finish that came right down to the end with Dustin Martins being the winner by a hair over Marcus_WPG.
Yeah, 2 guys getting into that platform, but you have to go through the hole to hit the finish line, and it was Martins Dustin who got there first, just over Marcus WPG. I'm very curious to see the times on this because I imagine it's going to be very close.
Yes, indeed. There's Didic CJ. There's Greg Pasechnik taking his time to enter in.
He didn't even finish.
Actually got burned by the fire at the end and did not officially finish the race. But there you go. Just a couple seconds in between Dustin Martins and Marcus WPG. Jamie Midon third, Andrew K. Fitzsimmons fourth, K. Berard fifth. The Gitch did finish. Mike Cochran, F.R. Towns. Ted Lai, he had a tough time just coming out of that. Took like an extra 30 seconds for Ted Lai, too, to get out of the orb. He was right there. Other finishers, Andrew Gilly, 22, Snady M, and Didick CJ. Everyone else got top rope. So congratulations, Dustin Martins. We'll send you a message right now, and we'll get an email from you, and we'll transfer those tickets over. And again, a huge thanks to our great partners at CoolBet for making this amazing contest happen. Fingers crossed that we'll be doing something similar in a few days for game number 2. But of course, Remo, that is all dependent on the biggest hockey game in a hell of a long time in this city tomorrow night at 6 p.m. with the eyes of the hockey world on the peg.
Yeah, last Game 7 the Winnipeg Jets had was 2018 against Nashville, but it was on the road, this time at home, and so much on the line, as you mentioned. Could be Nikolai Ehlers' last game. You know, there's going to be some changes into the offseason, and just it would be a tough way to go out a Game 7 at home after this regular season that they've had, but you have to have some confidence knowing that they've won every game at home so far in this series and the way that they've played this year.
I take a lot of confidence out of the Game 5 performance.
Yes.
I mean, to me, that we were going to find out what this team was made of in Game 5. Game 3 and 4 went horribly. They had not won a game after losing, dating back to 2019. And they were able to, despite the loss of Mark Scheifele, Ehlers not being in the lineup, and, a struggle at times for Hellebuck, they found a way to win and were clearly the better team despite being undermanned. Ehlers is back. Scheifele, a game-time decision. Hey, this is why you play all year, for an opportunity to be in a game like this. And this is why you try and win your division and win the President's Trophy. So when you get a game like this, it's in front of your fans. And the one thing I can guarantee is that this city and this fan base is going to be fired up. They're going to be throwing on the whites. They're going to be lifting this team and their all-star goaltender up. And it won't be for lack of passion or energy behind the home team on the result tomorrow night. So, folks, have a great rest of your Saturday. Tomorrow morning, again, 9 a.m. right here on Winnipeg Sports Talk will be WST Sunday Live. We'll have the latest from the morning skate. Full Game 7 preview with Connor, Liz, Jacob Stoller from Sportsnet.ca as well. And then around 12:40 tomorrow, I'll be jumping on with Sarah Orleski and Jamie Thomas on the check-in as well. So we're going to be trying to build up the positive vibes for the next 24 hours or so. Jump on and then listen, I will be wearing the exact same white outfit that I have for the previous 3 home games. But I wouldn't be surprised to see some white shorts in the crowd because it is going to be absolutely gorgeous. So get outside, enjoy it, and then get ready for history in the making tomorrow night, one way or the other, for Game 7 between the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues. And, of course, enjoy the other Game 7 in the first round tonight, the other Central Division matchup, the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. And whoever survives these 2 series will be getting going next week in round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Thanks again to the great partners we've got at CoolBet for the contest and sending Dustin Martins to game number 7. We'll have more details on some really exciting stuff we're doing with CoolBet, hopefully for round 2, but heading into the future next week on the program. Remis and Connor will be live will be dropping post-game content as well tomorrow after Game 7. And then win or lose, we will be all over it for the big show Monday afternoon, 1 p.m. right here on Winnipeg Sports Talk. For Michael Remis, Connor Rabchak, I'm Andrew Paterson. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Get a good sleep tonight because tomorrow's a big day in Peg City. Jets Blues Game 7 tomorrow night at Canada Life Center. See you later, everybody.
Oh, my God! Oh!
Thanks for tuning in to Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast feed at winnipegsportstalk.com.